So this is the first assignment that you will be using to learn a little bit about how Premiere Pro works. And it's going to be a real basic assignment. I'm going to provide some videos for you and you're just going to have to put those together in Premiere. If you've ever done any video editing before, you may find this easy, but if not, this is going to guide you through step by step, so everybody should be able to do it. The first thing you want to do is make sure that Premiere Pro is already on your taskbar. So you can see how mine is right there. It's the PR icon, and if it's not there, you can press down here in your on your Windows button and just type in Premiere, P-R-E, and there you go, Adobe Premiere. And then when you launch it, make sure that you've right-clicked and pin it to the taskbar, so that way you guys will have that easily accessible, because we will be using that quite a bit. The next thing you're going to need to do is download the files that you're going to be using for this assignment. So I've provided them here for you. So this is what's called a zip file. So a zip file is a way of compressing files and putting them together in a group so you don't have to download them separately. And all you're going to do here is hit download or download here, and it's going to give you this warning. And you should have already given yourself earlier today, you should have already changed it so that you have control of wherever things are downloaded. So that's going to be something I'm trying to emphasize, is being able to manage your files and keep track of where things go. So instead of going to your downloads folder, we're going to put this on your desktop. You can see I've got a bunch of folders there already, and we're just going to save that there. So that's taken a few seconds to download, and I can click on it down here. I should be able to also find this file on my desktop. See, it's right there, and this icon looks like it's got a zipper through it. So when something is in a zip file like this, you can see it's all there, but I can't use anything yet because it's all compressed. So because it's still in a zip file, I have to extract it. I have to take it out. So there's a couple of different ways you can do this. I want you to keep it all in a folder. So I'm going to extract all and put it on a desktop. Intro to PP, Premiere Pro, and Landry Run is another name for this assignment. So I want you guys to get in the habit of making a folder on your desktop for every assignment that you do. It's going to help you keep track of things. We're going to be dealing with a lot of files over the course of the year, so that's just going to be helpful for you. So zip file, we've already unzipped everything. Everything is now in this regular folder, and I can see the little icons and everything. So I am going to just delete that. Don't need the zip file anymore, but we've got the intro to Premiere Pro Landry Run file, which is what I want. So now we're ready to get started with Premiere Pro. Yours should look mostly the same, except of course you won't have all this stuff here. And since it's your first time, you may see things a little differently. But the main thing that you need to do is press New Project, and it's going to send you to this import screen. I am going to have you guys make the project name Intro to Premiere Pro, or you can call it Landry Run. And for the location over here, I want you to put that project location, the same folder that was just on your desktop. So I don't see that as a choice here. So I'm going to go to choose location on my desktop. There's that folder. I'm going to select that folder, and there's a lot of different ways to do this, but I find this kind of confusing. So the main thing is I want you to do Intro to Premiere Pro. Make sure it's going to be in that folder, and let's just hit Create for now. Yours may look something like this. You've got this extra Learn thing over here, and all these windows, these little boxes over here. I'm going to ask you to change it over here. So this little button called Workspaces has a bunch of different ways that you can work in Premiere Pro. And we're going to just switch to editing, so that gets rid of the learning box, so you got a little more space. Okay, so now we're in the main Premiere screen. What you're going to start with is bringing in your files. So that's going to be in this area right here. It says Import Media to Start. So you can do this a couple of different ways. We're just going to double click. And now we're going to select what videos do we want to bring in to our project. So I'm going to go to desktop again, because that's where you saved everything, Intro to Premiere Pro, and there's all your stuff. We're not going to import this purple file, because that's something that Premiere just made, but we have the music for Landry Run, and we have parts 1 through 8. So I'm going to select all those, and I'm going to open. and now they appear over here. Okay, so this window, the project window, has all of the assets that we're going to use for this project. Right now they're in list mode, list view, and you can't really see anything, but you can click on it like this and you'll be able to see what it actually looks like. So we're going to go ahead and start with part 1, and to make a timeline, to make the first start of our project, we're going to drag it over here. So this is our timeline over here. This is going to be where we assemble our whole project and put it all in order. So you can see it starts off with just part 1. You can adjust these sliders to make it bigger or smaller as you want it. You can do that for this side as well to make it bigger or smaller. If I make it a little bit bigger, I can see the picture of what's in that part, and I can also use this slider, and this is called a waveform, so I can see the audio a little bit better. So this is going to be a pretty simple one, but notice that it's also made this, which is called a sequence. That little icon shows me that it's a sequence, whereas all these other parts are clips. So when I play this, it's going to be this guy Landry talking about asking a girl to prom. He asks her out to prom, and then it has him running, and then at the very end of the clip he turns around. So what we're going to do is you're going to edit this down using all 8 parts, and it's going to be ultimately less than a minute when you're done, and you're going to replace all the sound of him running around with this music that I provided, the one that says music for Landry Run. So to start with, I'm going to choose where to stop. So I'm gonna say right here is good, and to end the clip early, I can just drag it right here. So I just drag the end right there. Notice there's this little triangle thing right there. That means that's the end of the clip. So now I've ended the clip early, and I'm ready for part 2. So part 2. Has him running. Part 3. You guys can figure this part out. I think you guys have the idea. It's not terribly complicated. You're going to put all the parts together real quick. So I'm going to do that real quick, and then I'm going to show you how to add some music to replace all this audio where he's just running. Okay, so now I've added all the clips. Part of the requirement here is that you edit it so that it's less than a minute. So some of these parts you don't have to keep everything of. So like this one when he's going up the stairs, I want to end that one a little early. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here to this tool, which is called the Ripple Edit tool. And I'm going to come down here to the end of the clip. And I'm going to just shorten the end of it. And the Ripple Edit, see, just brings that everything along in front of it. So that tool is going to be really useful if you want to go back and shorten some other parts. Again, the goal is that it's under a minute. You can see right here how long it is. So this is the minute marker right there, and up here it shows you exactly where it is. So the whole sequence is a little bit longer than a minute here. So I got to figure out some way to get this thing under a minute. So I'm going to go back and then shorten some of these other parts. Almost under a minute. So I've edited it down a good bit, so it's under, well, it's almost exactly a minute. That's good enough. So now how am I going to get rid of that sound? So what I'm going to do is make sure you're back on the selection tool. And there's a couple of different ways you can do this. This is just one. I'm going to bring this sound over here. And I want it to start when he starts running. Okay, so that's pretty much exactly where I want it to start. And then I want it to stop right here. Okay, so Again, there's a lot of different ways we can do this. This is the simplest way. I'm just going to ask you to bring it up. And if I drag this up over the sound, now that's going to be gone. All right, so now we've got the video put together. It's a minute. Down here at the end, he says, here goes nothing, and then I'm going to have it cut to black right here. So actually, no, it is less than a minute, okay? I want you to cut it before he turns around and faces the camera. So I'm gonna do that real quick, Control Z, and now it ends, it just cuts to black right there. So that's most of what you need to do. The last bit is gonna be adding some text. So at the very beginning, I want you to add some text that has your name. So to do that, I use the type tool right here. And up here on the program monitor is what that's called. I just made a box. So draw a box and it will give you a couple of choices. Over here, I'm in the effects control panel. And it may not open up right away. If you do need to, this is called unspooling. You click that and it's going to unspool. So it's going to show me right there. I've got choices about how big the text is, what fonts it is, all sorts of, I can change the color and all sorts of stuff like that. So I'm going to put your name. Obviously you're going to put your actual name. I'm going to highlight that to change that. And I want you to change it to pink Comic Sans font, because that is the most ridiculous thing I can think of. So instead of looking through all the fonts that are on your computer, you can just type in the beginning of it. And I'll show you how to install fonts later. So Comic Sans, and for the fill, that's going to change the color of the actual text. So I'm going to click fill, and you got all your colors here. So I'm going to do pink and select pink. There you go. So there you go. You got one text box at the beginning, and then you're gonna have one more at the end. And this one is just gonna say to be continued. So I'm gonna use the text. And this time, I want you to make it your own. Do not use the pink Comic Sans text. Put that in the middle of the screen. So here, I gotta unspool again, and I got a whole bunch of fonts to choose from. And let's make it something that's ridiculous. Something stand out. I'll just do the page because that's easier to read. And I want that to end right when the story ends. So after he says, here goes nothing, and then at the end, it's gonna say to be continued. And that's it. So I want you to, again, edit all 8 parts together, clip it so that it's less than a minute, get that audio in there to replace all the running sounds. Then you're going to have text at the beginning and end, and you're finished. How do you turn it in? This isn't a video right now. You can't watch this. You can't share this with me. You can't share this with your parents or whoever. So right now, your video is in Premiere Pro, and it's looks like, it looks okay in Premiere Pro, but you got to export it so other people can watch it. So to do that, you're going to go up here to go to export. Okay, and this is going to get you a bunch of choices. We'll go into most of them, but really this is the main thing that you're going to need to do. You can call this Landry Run Final, or Intro to Premiere Pro Final, whatever you want to call it. Location. I want you to put this in a new folder you're going to call exports. So this is going to be your place. I've already got one called exports. There you go. There's my exports folder. Exports. There you go. Okay, so whenever you finish a project, it's going to go here in exports. Make sure that you're here where it says entire source. That's just going to make sure it does the entire video. In your format, you want to make sure that it's H.264. If it's not already, H.264 is going to be the main format that we export with. Those files are small enough that they're not going to take up a huge amount of space, but still good quality. and everything else should be pretty much the same. So all you got to do at this point is press export. And now, after that's done, it'll give you this little blue window saying it's completed successfully, and to turn it into canvas, turn it into canvas, you're going to start assignment, and it's going to say upload media, and you don't want to record, you want to upload, select video file, and to look for it, it's going to be on your desktop, and you made that exports folder, and there's your Landry Run final. So that'll take a few seconds, and when it's done, you'll need to hit submit assignment again, but that's it, you're done.